Why modern men feel empty. If you're a man and you want to find the right girlfriend or wife, because maybe you're doing well in your career or your business, but you realize that the last missing piece of the puzzle for you is a fulfilling relationship to the right woman, this video is for you. Today, we're not only going to talk about on how you can find the right girlfriend or wife, but I will also give you some systemic, some structural components that you need to infuse into your life if you want to have more sustainable happiness, energy, productivity, purpose, and fulfillment. In other words, the opposite of feeling empty. The first thing you need to do if you want to find the right girlfriend or wife is answer these three questions. Who am I? Where am I going? And with whom? Jorge Bucay, I hope I'm not butchering his name, wrote a book called Die drei Fragen in German, Tres Preguntas. I have no Spanish. It only exists in German and in Spanish. The three questions. And those are the ones I just mentioned. Let's start with the first one. Who am I? If you don't know exactly what you stand for, what you stand against, what must never be said about you at your funeral, there's no chance in hell that you will attract a woman who is truly right for you. Because remember, the number one criteria for long-term relationship success is selection, in other words, compatibility. The number one factor of relationship success is compatibility. It doesn't matter how much couples counseling you're going to do later or you dive deep into attachment styles. If you're fundamentally not compatible, you're not, and it's not going to work. And by the way, if you think she's just avoidant, I'm telling you, with some other guys, she isn't avoidant. She's just avoidant with you. Attachment styles, I might make a video about that some other day. So you need to write down in detail, who am I? What do I stand for? What do I stand against? Write this question down. What must never ever be said about me at my funeral? What do I stand against as a man? Because the more you define yourself also in opposition to something, the more strength you get. I'll tell you one of my examples. It's not so much a thing, but it's pain. I went through so much pain with my ex-wife because I was with somebody who wasn't right for me. She wasn't a bad person, but we just weren't compatible. And yet, I unconsciously believed that my happiness depended on her. I was so psychologically attached to her because she was meeting my need for love and connection that I married her, and I was in a really bad emotional spot. I went through a lot of pain. That pain is what I want to get rid of for men. And I'm not one of those guys who's for men and against women. I'm really for both. My focus is just 99% men. And by finding somebody who's right for you and by disqualifying the wrong options and by becoming way more skilled at communicating and by bringing your confidence levels up to an entirely new dimension, you are able to prevent so much unnecessary pain, because most of the pain that you've experienced in your past with your ex-wife or your ex-girlfriend was unnecessary. Now, that does not mean that you should feel bad about it, because it made you who you are. And looking back on it and thinking, well, this was just a circumstance, that is another example or evidence that life, God, or the universe is punishing me, that I'm a victim, or that there's no order to this whatsoever, and life is just cruel in its existence. No, it's not. Obviously, you need to give the events that happened in your past an empowering meaning. Of course. At the same time, you could have avoided it. Same with my ex-wife. If I would have simply had guidance, I met my mentor then working for Salesforce, which then eventually led to me ending things with my ex-wife, going out there, learning about dating, communication, social dynamics. If I would have met in 10 years sooner, I would have been able to avoid all of that. So I want you to avoid unnecessary pain. Because by the way, if you're in a relationship with a woman who is right for you, she's also in a relationship with a man who is right for her. Now, some women and some men, they're so toxic, they shouldn't be in a relationship with anybody. They should really do some deep soul searching and fix a large part about themselves, because they're really not compatible with anybody. But overall, if you're with women who aren't right for you, you both suffer. This is a win-win-win situation. Everybody benefits from you being in a relationship with a woman who's actually right for you. And it comes back down to understanding what you stand for. What are your values? What do you stand against? The second question is, where am I going as a man? What are my goals for the next 6 months, year, 2 years, 5, 10? What's my vision? If you have a business, it's partially your job to communicate a vision. This is where we're going. If you have a family, you need to communicate a vision. If you have friends, if you lead any type of group in martial arts, in rock climbing, anything, you need to communicate a vision with certainty. That is your number one job as a leader, to communicate a vision with certainty, to get buy-in, to get people to understand why this vision must be achieved, and then get everybody to buy into it so you can not just get the most out of them in terms of productivity, but also actually work with people who are aligned and who you want to be with. Because if you don't even understand where exactly you're going, let's say you're doing well in your career or your business already, well, what's the next step? Well, I want to retire in X, Y, Z years because then I'll have X many millions in the bank. Okay, fine. And then what? Okay, well, I've actually talked to a lot of business owners and men who are at that level, and they say finding the right one would actually infuse their life with a renewed sense of purpose. Because now you're not only doing it for yourself, you're doing it for her. Maybe you'll have children together. Maybe you just merge families because she has her family, you have your family, whatever you want. Maybe you don't want children. But having a woman by your side infuses your life with so much added purpose. I mean, for me, it's obviously I have my family in Germany, but Fernanda has been a huge part of it because I'm not just doing it for me, I'm doing it for her. All of this. And I actually have a unique job. I'm extremely fortunate where I genuinely give a shit about my clients. I have awesome people that I work with who I really, really care about. This is a really cool job to have. So that meets my need for connection. And I know immediately that I'm doing it for them as well. But I had to communicate to Fernanda from the beginning when I had no objective evidence on the outside to back it up that this is where I was going to go. And then you back it up with consistent action every single day because women value ambition more than current success. Let me say that again. Women value ambition more than current success. Yes, obviously, you can get somebody by just doing good. You won't be able to keep her if you let yourself go. If you don't communicate a vision, if you're not growing, you're dying. And also, by the way, the times you have felt most alive wasn't even when you achieved the big goal. It's when you were making progress towards it. Progress, Tony Robbins says, equals happiness. When you make progress, you can live on less energy. I was actually having a conversation with a friend of mine. He is also a coach on the program. He's really smart. He's a very technical type of guy. And he used to be a magician for many years, a street magician, and now he's into AI and crypto and that type of stuff. Very, very smart. And we were talking about this idea of supplements and getting your testosterone levels checked as a man and how all of that really matters in terms of energy. Vitamin D, zinc, right? All these things contribute to healthy testosterone production. This is not medical advice. My family in Germany, they work in medicine. I don't. But I also said to him, this is all true. All these things matter. But have you ever noticed that there were times in your life where you didn't have any supplements or just very little, or maybe even shitty sleep, maybe terrible food, but you were working on something, maybe you were making progress in your career, your business, in the gym, there was something that excited you and you could live on less sleep, shitty nutrition, no supplements. How is that? Well, the greatest source of energy and thereby a lack of emptiness, fulfillment, and aliveness is your psychology. And in essence, it's just making progress towards a goal that you deem worthy, a North Star that you orient yourself towards. If you're making progress, you don't need all of the right supplements. And again, why not get the right amount of vitamin D, zinc, magnesium? You should study all of that in detail to make sure your testosterone levels are optimized. Absolutely, of course. But you can do all the right stuff. And if your need for love and connection isn't met because you're lonely, your energy will be low. And if you're not making progress towards a tomorrow that's better than today, your energy levels will be low and you'll feel a little empty. Because to avoid feeling empty, coming back to what we talked about at the very beginning, there's love and connection and progress. So, second question, where am I going? Third question, with whom? Who do I want to have by my side? And I would invite you to write 3, 4, 5, 6 pages of your ideal girlfriend. What would she be like? Dream big and don't limit yourself in your own mind. Obviously, it's not just physical. Physical attraction obviously matters, but personality, values. How does she respond to you? What's her energy-wise? And can I be direct with you? I assume you just said yes. You suck at reading red flags, bro. You're really bad at it. You don't know how to elicit red flags. That's why you spent years or months with all these women where it never worked out. If you actually knew how to read red flags and communicate effectively with women, you wouldn't be where you are right now. Good news is there's nothing wrong with who you are. The product who you are, if you're a kind, caring, hardworking, intelligent man, if you're a good dude, you're already doing great. The product who you are is amazing. It's just the marketing sucks. Communication, confidence, social dynamics. You need to fix that. It won't fix it by itself. If you want me to help you with that personally, click the link underneath this video and just apply for a free initial consultation. Do that now. Click the link below. Fill it in. Come back to the video, okay? But go and write down what you're actually looking for. Because otherwise, Tony Robbins talks about something called the reticular activating system or activation system. It's basically your selective focus. You won't even be able to notice a beautiful woman, and I mean personality-wise, if she's standing in front of you because you'll get distracted by physical beauty. I have this with clients who actually have dated attractive women. I have some clients who have almost no dating experience, very little, and some who have very extensive dating experience. All of them want to find the right one, somebody who's quality. One of the skill sets that I have that almost no other person in the world has, I can spot a beautiful woman with warm, caring, nurturing energy from a mile away. You think you can, but you can't. If you could, you'd be in a relationship. It is a skill set you need to develop. And part of it, there is an inner game component to it. Part of it is your selective focus. And how do you prime your selective focus? How can you train your brain to notice a beautiful woman, inside out, I mean, when she's standing in front of you? By ascribing value to her characteristics that your brain will then notice. So you write down what she would be like in detail. And then you dream up that vision. And then you'll be able to notice it much more likely. That's not the only thing, it goes deeper than that, but that is a fundamental first step. Clients of mine who skip this, they can sometimes take 3-4 times as long to find the right one as the ones who do. You need to prime your selective focus, your unconscious competencies, as Gunther Schmidt, one of Germany's best psychologists, would say, because you have unconscious competencies. One of them could be to almost energetically notice it. Now, maybe you don't have that skill set. I can help you with that. These videos can help you with that. There's free resources, there's paid resources. But you have to learn that skill set. Extremely important. So you write down these 3 questions. Then, to find the right girlfriend or wife, you need to start taking actions. There's only 3 ways to get quality options. Dating apps, Instagram, in-person approaches. Use all of them, or at least one of them, very well. You can't find the right one just through dating apps, just through Instagram, just through approaches. Social circle referrals, maybe it's just a very limited pool if you're lucky, but you don't want to rely on luck, and it's not a scalable strategy, if you will. These are the only 3.5-4 strategies, if you will. You can use some. You should use as many of them as possible to get as many quality options as possible. This is not so you can have intimacy with as many women as possible, but what it is really about is you can disqualify the wrong ones very, very quickly, maintain a gold standard that you compare everybody else against, and then choose the one who's actually right for you. Because remember, this is about you being happy, fulfilled, and alive, and in love for the long term, maybe forever. Not just for half a year, because you know that you can have a lot of chemistry with a woman and passion with somebody who really isn't right for you. There's some women that you can have amazing passion and chemistry with. My goodness, physically unbelievably attractive, but they're just not right for you. And now, most men fall prey to the false dichotomy. Either I'll be with a woman who's physically attractive, but has a trash personality, or I'll be with somebody who has an amazing personality, but she's not that physically attractive. That is a logical fallacy. That is a false dichotomy. Either or. There's always a third option. What is the third option? You can just find somebody who's actually right for you. Do not fall prey to this false dichotomy. It's either this or that. Just take more action. Now, to have the audacity as a man to want something as unusual as a quality relationship, and it isn't unusually great and outstanding result, make no mistake about it. Most men don't have it. They pretend they have it, but they actually don't. You need to be willing to back it up with action. Massive action is the cure-all. Now, this is not a 25-hour-a-week MBA program. 5 to 10 hours a week. That's all this takes. If you sleep 8 hours a night, which you probably don't, I slept 4 or 5 hours last night. If you sleep 8 hours a night, you have 112 waking hours available to yourself every single week. 4 to 7% of your waking time is what's required. If you are not willing, my brother, to invest 4 to 7% of your waking time to find the right girlfriend or wife, well, then you deserve to stay single. That's it. It's going to require effort. It's not a magic pill. Even if you use the right strategies and frameworks and you get the right guidance, doesn't have to be me, it can be me, it'll still require some work. Not 25, 30 hours a week, 5 to 10. Time is an excuse. Don't you dare come to me with a time excuse. It is an absolute and utter excuse. Time is emotion. You make time for what's most important for you. The real reason you haven't dedicated more time to it, maybe you're already spending enough time. Probably already spending like half an hour a day on dating apps. It's just not working. You're just doing the wrong things. Just do it right. But if you haven't, it's because you have beliefs that are stopping you. The results you have in your life relationship or not, quality dates or not, come from your actions. So technically, you just have to take the right actions, enough of the right actions, quality as well as quantity, to get the result. Why do people not do it? Why are there billionaires who are overweight? Why does not everybody have a six-pack? Because to take action consistently to get the results and to overcome the date that doesn't go well every once in a while, these emotional hurdles, and dating is a very emotionally engaging subject, even for a very logical, rational, intelligent, successful method, your mindset has to be on point. What is mindset? Your thoughts and your emotions. That's all. Your mental and your emotional state. Your mindset needs to be managed. And that's the number one thing that I help clients with. That's what I'm trying to help you with through these videos. If you change your thoughts and your emotions consistently, that then allows you to take the right actions consistently to get the right quality dates and then choose the right person from that. But it will require some effort. There is no way around it. Now, when you're doing this, it's about communication. And you can be a very skilled communicator in business, in your career. Maybe you're not. Maybe you are. This is a separate context. There's guys who are crushing it in business. I know martial artists, world-level martial artists who suck at this, world-level business guys, surgeons, dentists, investment bankers. Communicating with women is different, my friend, as I'm sure you've realized, but it's a skill set you can learn. I have 400 videos on YouTube for free that you can watch. I have 100 episodes on Spotify that you can watch for free. 2,000 videos on Instagram for free. If you want personal help, the coaching program exists. There's no excuses. There's free resources and paid resources. You have no excuse. You will find a way if you're committed, if you make a decision. The beautiful thing about becoming a skilled communicator with women is not only will it give you the outcome of a quality relationship, of having an amazing woman by your side, to wake up next to, to share life with, to make love to build something with, but it in and of itself is the reward. The reward is freedom of expression. You become much more free and at ease with yourself, and not in my way. My mentor who coaches with me, he is Eastern European, and he has a very unbelievably smart. He doesn't have a public profile. He has a very different communication style to me. Very different. You can even see that when I'm talking about him, I'm almost shifting to a way where he would, because I'm very empathetic and my mind is activating some mirror neurons. Not really. I don't know what's happening. But I almost mirror how he's communicating because he has a very different way to me. Your way is not going to be my way. It's not going to be his way. When it comes to communication, there's two things that matter: authenticity and effectiveness. You can say what's true in an effective way and in an ineffective way. You don't want to make shit up. You don't want to be so effective that you just fucking lie. That's what most guys do. They pretend to be friends, for example. Oh, you just want to be friends. Liar! You want to make love to her and you're not admitting it. Just tell her, not like that, more intelligently, but communicate your intent from the beginning. Create a man-to-woman connection from the beginning, and then let her opt in or opt out. Should know from the first 5 seconds that you're hitting on her. It should be abundantly clear that that's what your intention is. And you're loving, and you're warm, and you're playful, and you're perfectly socially calibrated. And the second she's uncomfortable, the second she doesn't want to talk to you, or you even anticipate she doesn't want to talk to you, you walk away. But being free in your expression is a reward in and of itself, because life becomes so much more enjoyable. And what happens as a result of it, you'll start talking to more and more people and you'll feel more at home in the world. Because if you don't want to feel empty, the number one source of suffering for human beings is a lack of quality social contact. Let me say that again. The science is very clear. The number one suffering, the cause for that, for men, is a lack of quality social contact. You need to spend more time, not only on quality dates and with family members, but with quality male friends. The times you've suffered most, the times you've questioned yourself, the times fear took over the most, or sadness or anger, was it when you were around a group of strong, quality men who were very loyal to you? Or when you were by yourself in your big house, in your big apartment? Ooh, that hit. That hit, didn't it? You can change it. It's not even your fault, though. Nobody has taught you that you need to make an effort. On my gravestone, if that's the right word, English is my second language, do keep that in mind. If I were to die today, which I hopefully won't, hopefully I'll make it in 120 years, it's supposed to say something around quality male friends. Because if there's one thing you can do right now that will double your happiness, is spend 7 hours more per week in the company of quality male friends. You do that, my friend, almost anything you want is going to come from that. Quality social contact. And some contact is better than nothing, always. But then instead of just cutting the wrong ones out, which is something you should also do, add more of the right people. Where do you find them? Gyms. You talk to guys there. Hey, bro, would you mind spotting me? And you call him bro, so he knows you don't want to suck his dick. And maybe private members clubs, maybe personal development groups, maybe coaching programs, maybe like they exist anywhere if you actually just talk to them. And business events, personal development groups and networks and seminars, like my coaching program, for example, but there's plenty of other ones. Like Tony Robbins events, for example, that you should definitely go to at some point. You meet amazing people there. And also keep in mind, no matter where you go, bachata, salsa communities, martial arts, 9 out of 10 men you'll meet, just like women, they won't be right for you. But some will be. And you have to be willing, just like with finding the right girlfriend or wife, to sacrifice the width for the depth. Where the depth lies, that's the opposite of emptiness. That's where your fulfillment is to be found, my friend, in quality social relationships. And the best news, you are fully in control. I'm usually not a fan of cheesy Instagram wisdom, but the other day I saw a video that was actually really good. It's just one line. What you're not changing, you're choosing. Let that sink in. If you're not getting the dates you want, you're choosing that because you're not changing it. If women lose interest in you, you're choosing that. You can literally just decide to choose something else. Every day, your life circumstances, the way your day is structured. You could change. You could if you wanted to. You're not doing it. Excuses. In the end, winners get the result. Losers make an excuse.